time to get weird. Hey y'all, it's Crystal. So the week of weird round 2 is here. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little vlog for the week and take you along with the weirdness. So let's kind of run over again what I'm planning on reading for the week. I talked a little bit about, I think in my announcement video, I think. I can't even remember. But yeah, so I'm really hoping my main sort of novel focus for the week is going to be Hearts of Oak by Eddie Robson. And I know it just sounds quite strange. So the buildings grow and the city expands and the people of the land are starting to behave abnormally, or perhaps they've always behaved that way and it's normality that's at fault. So our hero, close to retirement, finds that the world she has always known is nothing like she's believed it to be. There are dark forces. Wait, not dark. There are uncanny forces. No, not uncanny either. There are forces anyway, mostly slightly odd ones, and they appear to be acting in mysterious ways. It's about town planning, it's about talking cats, and it's about the nature of reality. So it says it's a delightful science fiction adventure, and it just sounds really quirky and lovely, right? So yeah, this is going to be my main focus for my physical reading for the week to get through. I will probably read at least one Lovecraft story. I may pull something out of this little collection I've got. But I don't really know what I'm gonna read yet. I've read a couple of things out of here already. Like I've read Dagon and the Dunwich Horror. Did I read Whisper in the Darkness? I know I can't remember. I read that one. Maybe I'll actually finally read The Call of Cthulhu, because I've actually never read that one. So it might be time. It might be Cthulhu time, you know? I don't think I've read it. I don't think I have. So maybe Cthulhu. Maybe I'll finally read it. Of course, I'll be pulling from my anthologies. I've got the New Weird and the Big Weird. Yeah, I'm gonna read some stories out of that. I don't quite know for sure yet. And I've got this story collection, Born to be Weird, which is Demented Fantasy and Bizarro Horror by Set Sites. Read some stories out of here. I've just flipped through. Look at that. Okay, yeah, tentacles are always good. I've even pulled this one, you know, just in case, because it's short. This Carton Mellick book. Every time we meet the Dairy Queen, your whole fucking face explodes. It just sounds like a lot of fun. And then I have Area X by Jeff Vandermeer. This is the Complete Southern Reach trilogy. I've actually already started this because my audiobook hold came in. So I started it on Friday, Friday at work. And because I like to actually kind of get through the whole trilogy, I went ahead and started it. So I know I cheated a little bit, but my son's coming down the steps, so it's gonna get hummy in here. And I actually finished Annihilation, the first book, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that. And we got this expedition of these 4 or 5 women that are going into Area X, which is this just really strange, hey, quiet, just this really strange area that they're sort of going in and exploring. And so there's a biologist, a psychologist, an anthropologist, and a surveyor. Again, they're all women, and this is the 12th expedition into Area X. And they get there, it's kind of like marshy landscape, a lot of vegetation and trees and things. They have their sort of mission when they get there, and they can attempt to know outside contact and things like that. Things are just weird over there, right? There's wildlife and life, but the wildlife just seems a little bit off from what we know, like stuff like that, right? So there's this thing called the Tower, which is actually this tunnel which goes down into the earth that they're exploring. There's like a lighthouse. It's really weird. So our main narrator is the biologist, and she's going exploring into the tower, and it's kind of right towards the beginning of this story. She's looking at this weird writing that's on the wall of this this sort of tunnel that they're exploring, and the writing is all in like fungi, and these spores are released, and so we also learned that the psychologist is a hypnotist and is manipulating the other people. Some, she seems to have different motives for this expedition, right? It looks like a sort of Earth-like place, right? Or it's like something familiar, because there was big old little dilapidated buildings and things like that. So what is Area X and so yeah, I really enjoyed the first one. So I did make a really small start on the second book, which is what, Authority, I think. Yeah, Authority. I'm just getting into that one, and in that one, there's a man who's kind of interviewing, or people from the first book, like after their expedition. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. I think Jeff Vandermeer is like a requirement for Week of Weird for me now. I read Born, the last year, so or last Week of Weird. Anyway, so these are my plans, and I'm sure during the week I'll pull up some more things on audiobook. I've got a couple things on Scribd and things like that I can dig into, and yeah. So we'll see where the week goes, and hopefully it would get good and weird. All right, I'll check in later. I'm wearing my Bookish Things and Weird Stuff shirt. You can get this off of Sin's Book Nook channel. Her channel's amazing. I'll link it below, and you can find the link to get your own. Look at this, got Mothman. I mean, that's great. So for that today, I'm home from work today because it's a teacher work day, so I'm just kind of home with my kiddo today. Took the day off work. We ran some errands this morning and afternoon. I drug him all over the town today. So we got him some new glasses, and we got them ordered. And then where do we go? Oh, I mailed something at the post office. Finally got my life together to get to the post office. Then we went to the library, and then we went to Barnes and Noble, and then we went to Five Below. And now we're home. Oh, we had lunch at McDonald's. It's just, a little day with the kiddo. Anyway, so let's check up on some reading, and then I'll show you the things I got at the library that I'm really excited about. Okay, so I read one story last night from The Weird. I read The Town of Cats by Hagiwara Sakutaro. This is translated from the Japanese by Jeffrey Angles, and it is definitely a bizarre little story. And it's told in kind of a strange way. It's like this guy's like, here, I'm about to tell you a story. So he tells him a story. So Hagiwara Sakutaro was born in 1886, died in 1942. So this story was written in 1935. And Sakutaro was usually a poet, and this is his only short story. Explores themes of disorientation and the illusory nature of reality. And yeah, I mean, so this guy's telling a story about the time of how sometimes if you get lost, you stumble upon kind of strange things. And he talks about how he went to this little town, or this little remote mountain area, and was taking a walk, and he got disoriented and lost, and he stumbled upon this really amazing town that's kind of at the base of this mountain. And at first it was just like, whoa, everyone was really quiet, and people were just going about their business. And then all of a sudden this loud noise happened, and everyone ran away, shuffled away, and then all these cats showed up. So it really was a town of cats, and it was really bizarre and strange. So anyway, great packs of cats materialized everywhere, filling all the roads around me. Cats, 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 cats. and he was just was like, it was pretty strange. So that's that story. So that of course works for my translation prompt. What a strange trip prompt to read some translated work. Excited about that. I did start Hearts of Oak last night. I literally read chapter 1. I just get to chapter 1. But so far I'm definitely interested. It's definitely a bizarre little world here. In this world, stuff seems to be always under construction, and there's like people that are like planners, they're like city planners and architects, and they are sort of constantly upgrading things and building new things and demolishing things to build new things. And so, and this place has like a king, so there's a king. We open up with the king, and he's getting his daily sort of delivery of mail, you know, see what's going on in the town. His mail is delivered by a talking cat named Clarence. So that's amazing. I'm already, you know, I'm hooked because there's a talking cat named Clarence. and yeah, so I'm intrigued. I'm curious. So yeah, that's kind of about all I've gotten into as far as reading. Need to, I was hoping to get some today, but we had all our errands, but I've got probably a few hours now that I can just kind of relax. So at the library, I wanted to just pick up a couple of things, even though I really may not actually, I may read like a story or two, something like that, but I wanted to just kind of pick these up, just to kind of look at them, and preparation maybe for, you know, future weeks of Weird, which I'm sure that we'll keep going. So they have these 2 volumes of these Women of the Weird. So this is Weird Women, excuse me. So this is classic supernatural fiction by groundbreaking female writers. And so this is from 1852 to 1923. And then there's another version, which is 1840 to 1925. So I don't know if one is like a later edition. So this is like 2021. Well, they both came out, like, this was like 2020. So anyway, stories from, you know, Elizabeth Gaskell. See, just some names I recognize here. Louisa May Alcott, Lost in a Pyramid, or The Mummy's Curse. Okay, she's a mummy story. Charlotte Perkins Gilman, The Giant Wisteria. Ooh, I wonder what that one's about. So it looks cool. Just a collection of stories, of old stories. This was called The Banshees Halloween by Hermione Templeton Cavanaugh. I might have to read that one. Yeah, so that's kind of exciting. And so this edition, George Eliot has a story here. Harriet Beecher Stowe, The Ghost in the Mill. That one sounds cool. Florence Marriott. Okay, so I will be planning to read some Florence Marriott for Victober. That's exciting. Edith Wharton, Mrs. Oliphant, Mary Elizabeth Braddon. Whoa. Okay. Zora Neale Hurston has a story in here called Spunk. I wonder what that one's about. So this is pretty great. So these are, I think they're both edited, both edited by Lisa Morton and Leslie Klinger. I love the covers, the skulls, and then the ladies in the old dress kind of. So yeah, I just thought, yeah, I kind of want to see what these were all about and check them out, you know, and check them out because I was curious. About those. So that's exciting that the library actually had it. And then I actually went to pick up this too. This is one I had on my list from last week of Weird when I was looking for weird books at the library. And this is Out of This World, The Surreal Art of Leonora Carrington. So Leonora Carrington, we know, is a surrealist, or was a surrealist painter. And she also wrote really weird fiction. I read one of her books last week of Weird, and yeah, it was really interesting. So this is just a little picture book of telling about Leonora Carrington. So I'm excited. So I'll maybe do a flip through for you guys if you want, or I'll put the blog up before you can say yes to a flip through. I'll do a flip through anyway. So that's exciting. And while I was there, I actually found this one too. Yayoi Kusama. It says Yayoi Kusama covered everything in dots. and wasn't sorry. So she's another actually artist that comes to mind when I think of like weird stuff. And this looks amazing. So she's a Japanese artist, and so this is just telling it about her, how she got into art, and then how she covers everything in polka dots. I told you we went to Barnes and stopped into Barnes and Noble too, because I really wanted to get Eric Nunn's new CD. I'm going to be seeing him live on Saturday night, so I'm so excited. And this CD just came out recently, and it's real, you guys. I'm loving the songs on this album. I don't know, there's some really good, especially the title track, House on the Hill, is so good. Anyway, so I want to just go pick that up. Anyway, all right, let's check in. So today's Tuesday. It's about 10 o'clock at night. And yeah, I've been reading, so let's check in. Did I mention, I think I talked about this, right? I did the audio for the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer. So I am reading book 2 now. Listen to the audio today at work. I've got maybe, I think, just like a half an hour left on it. Just didn't quite finish it today. This one is different, definitely a different feel from Annihilation, because Annihilation I read first. They're right here, right? Yeah. Annihilation. I think a lot of us know because it was made into the movie and all that, but I had never even seen the movie. But anyway, so there's this place called Area X that's sort of appeared, and there's this sort of like weird invisible line and things like, I don't know, something's weird is going on. So they keep sending sort of these teams in there to investigate it. Things get weird on the other side. And so in Authority, we've got a guy that works for Southern Reach, which is basically like the sort of governing entity that are exploring Area X, essentially. And so there's this guy who's investigating, the last expedition that we read about in Annihilation. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling, but it's a slight tonal shift, because we're just, we're not dealing with the weirdness of Area X itself. Like we're not in Area X in this one. We're in sort of the Southern Reach facility, right? So it's just got a different feel to the storytelling, and some of it is not quite as engaging as Annihilation, but then there would be these really strange parts in here, and some of it's quite dark and a little kind of scary almost, And so it keeps me pulled in, but not quite, I'd say not quite as enjoyable probably as Annihilation, but I'm going to go ahead and finish that out, of course, because I'm reading them all, and then I will start, it'll go right into book 3, which is Authority, or not Authority, I'm reading it right now, Acceptance. I don't know, we'll see how it all ties up together. Hopefully I can finish this on audio, because my hold's about to go out of the library. So I did read those children's books I talked about. So the Yayoi Kusama was really cute. It's like, you know, how she grew up picking polka dots on everything, and how she, you know, wanted to be an artist, so she left Japan and you know, just started to try to be an artist, and how she met George O'Keeffe, who helped her get like her, you know, some art shows and things like that. That was really cool. Yeah, just her life. I love the artwork in here. So, and there's her. She has this obsession with pumpkins too. Very super interesting though. I liked that a lot. I really did like Out of This World too, the Leonora Carrington. That little story about Leonora Carrington. This was really good. The artwork in here is stunning. Artwork in here is just gorgeous, and I really like the story. I learned a little bit about Leonora Carrington. I wouldn't mind now reading like a full kind of biography on her, because she seemed to lead a pretty interesting life. I'd be curious to know a little bit more about her. So that was really interesting. As far as the deep underwater book, there definitely is a little bit of weirdness going on here. There's a weird reflection, but this is really about the artwork. Oh, I mean, it's really stunning. If you're looking for a really nice picture book that's got, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Yeah. So definitely a little bit of weirdness to that one. Now this one ended up being really cute. It's written by, I didn't realize it, even though it says right there astronaut, but by an astronaut, Chris Hadfield. And look, there he is there. Yeah, I mean, pretty cool. So he wrote this book, and it's kind of like about his time, what inspired him to become an astronaut. And this kid, I don't know if it's like himself, I guess. He's afraid of the dark, actually. And his parents are like, okay, you've got to start sleeping in your own bed, you know, yada, yada, yada. And Chris, as a kid, is already really obsessed kind of with space travel and wanting to be an astronaut. And there's this scene where like people in his neighborhood all get together to watch the moon landing. But the thing is, again, he's scared of the dark, so there's just really kind of creepy imagery of him like trying to go to sleep in his room. If you've ever been afraid of the dark, like, I know that feeling. I was definitely afraid of the dark when I was a kid. It's kind of facing, you know, I think kind of facing your fears, and then once you kind of get over that thing, living the dream, you know. Because he did become an astronaut. I mean, how cool is that? That's so cool. Yeah, so he says that he had, you know, he was still in the dark at night, but he had changed. He'd seen that the darkness of the universe was so much bigger and deeper than the darkness in his room. But he was not afraid. He wanted to explore every corner of the night sky. So there's this really cool scene of galaxies in space. Yeah. So really, yeah, just about living your dream, because he made it all the way to space. Very cool. And the artwork in here, oh my gosh, look at the back. So much glare on my books. But anyway, it was really charming. Really liked that one. I have made pretty decent progress in Hearts of Oak. I'm about almost up to like page 100. So not quite half-ish way, because it's just about a 250 page book. This is really bizarre. And I'm hooked. I'm totally hooked on this one. So I don't think I've talked much about it because I hadn't read much, but so we're in this sort of city, right? I mentioned there's like a king who kind of oversees everything, and he has a pal named Clarence, who's a talking cat, right? I think I did all that. Now we've also met this woman named Iona, who is an instructor and a teacher at a school, and she teaches people how to like be architects and plan things and build things. Because there's a constant building of this city, and everything is made mostly of wool. There's very little wood. Lots of wool. I guess I need to go to bed. Made mostly of wood. Stone is used very, very sparingly, and metal is like, they don't use that to build anything, but they just use that for tools. And so everything is made of wool. Wool. Why do I keep saying wool? Wood. and it's also kind of seemingly getting like rebuilt. So like, they will be demolishing something to redo it and make it bigger and better and that kind of thing. So there's just always construction going on, and the king is kind of like, oh, she'll sure be happy when we're done with all this work. And so there's room for everybody, and everything will be done, but it doesn't seem like anything will get done. And so there's people that are like city planners, and they're planning out everything. And the way there's like these forested areas, but those are kind of cycled through because they need to make all of the buildings that they are building. And there's a strange things that has happened. When something has caught on fire, there's been a dead body. So now we got a little bit of a mystery going on. There is, I don't even want to say that could be way too much of a spoiler, because I feel like the less going into this it will be better for you, because there's something freaky going on. There is something crazy in here, and I'm dying to know. So I'm really enjoying this. Did I mention there was a talking cat? Yeah. And his name's Clarence. It's adorable. I read one story in the Born to Be Weird book. It was a very short story. It's called In the Backwoods, and it was very effective. Really, 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 really spooky story, actually. But yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. Didn't get to read another book in that, or another story in that today I was going to, but I ran out of time. I think that's it. I think that's what I've gotten to. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself. And people are, putting the Discord what they've been reading, and I think most people seem to be enjoying themselves so far. So we're having a good time our week of weird. All right. I'm just rambling at this point. So I will check in later. Okie doke. Shall we check in? Yeah, let's do a check in. Today's Friday, the 29th. So yeah, we're at the end of the work week, which is good. And yeah, the weekend will commence. And so let's check in. I've got a lot to talk about, so let's get going. I did finish the entire Southern Reach trilogy. This is, of course, by Jeff Vandermeer. Includes the books Annihilation, Authority, and Acceptance. And I liked this a whole lot. I really liked this a lot. And I'm so glad I finally got to this, for sure. I did the whole thing on audio. I spent most of the week listening to this on audio. Did I finish it yesterday? So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, audio listening while at work. So it was like 25 hours worth of audio for the 3 books. So anyways, I think I've talked a little bit about the first book. I did, finish up Annihilation. I really liked that. I got into the second book, Authority, and was kind of like, okay, what's going on here, kind of thing. And then the third book wowed me. So what I kept hearing about this series is like books 2 and 3 suck. Just read book 1. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know why. The whole trilogy is fantastic. And maybe because I binged it all at one time, I don't know, but I just had a really great time with this, and really all three of the books really flesh out this entire story. So I don't understand why people are like, I don't understand the hate, I guess, for books 2 and 3, because I liked them a whole lot. I don't know, whatever. So book 1 is the expedition is going into Area X, and we meet, the biologist in this story. She's kind of the main character, but we also hear a little bit about the sort of, what was she called? The team leader. I had another word for her, I can't remember right now. But anyway, so she's in there too, and things happen in Area X. So we're figuring out what Area X actually is. All that good stuff. The ending of that was like, anyway, okay, book 2 happens after the events of Area X, and there's a man named, what's his name again? Control. A man named Control who works for the Southern Reach, so like basically the kind of conglomeration that is exploring Area X. You know, this government, I don't know if they're like a government thing or not, I can't remember, but anyway. And he is kind of charged with figuring out what happened in Expedition number 12, which was the events of book number 1. And we kind of get a little back and forth of time, a little bit. We learned some things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, book 3 really fleshes out Area X prior to becoming Area X through a certain character that we've already met, and then a bit after even the events of the book 2. And it really, like I said, just really creates this entire, you know, full sort of fleshed out story of what happened and what's going on and the weirdness that has ensued in all 3 of these books. And I loved it. I really liked this a lot. So I would say if you want to definitely read the series, I mean, you got to read it. It's really good. Very strange, of course. And if you've stalled out on book 1 because, like me, you've heard like books 2 and 3 aren't great, give them a go and see, because I just thought they were really excellent. And like I said, really fleshed out this story and the characters and the weirdness and the whys of Area X, right? So for me, this was a hit. I really, really, really liked this a lot. So yay. I'm so excited. I read another story out of the weird. I read the book by Margaret Irwin. So this story was written in 1930. So we've got, of course, old weird there. I think it definitely is into the horror element. So we're following a man named, this book was really trippy. So we're following this dude named Mr. Corbett, and he has a family, you know, like a couple kids and wife and all that kind of stuff. And they have like staff. They have this sort of grand kind of house, right? And and they have this library there, and he's like pulling stuff, you know, book to read and all that kind of good stuff. But there's this like particular shelf where no matter if you pull a book out of it, it always sort of fills the space that's of the gap that's missing. You know what I'm saying? Like when there's a gap in the shelf from a missing book, yeah, it like fills itself. And so there's this book that hangs out on this shelf that basically Mr. Corbett gets kind of like all wrapped up in this book, and it really like changes his personality and things turn violent. The book is asking him to do things. I mean, like, it was really creepy, honestly. So I liked it a lot. I really did like that one. So that's another book, another story down out of the weird. Only like 89 more to go out of that one before I finish that book. Just because I have it here, I'm still working on Hearts of Oak. I'm loving this book. It is so freaking bizarre. It has taken a turn that I was not expected. I don't know. I didn't know where this book was going to take me, and I am enjoying the ride. So I'm really hoping I'm going to, I don't know if I can finish it tonight. I still got maybe about 100-ish pages this weekend for sure, because of course the month ends Week of Weird ends tomorrow. But I have kind of a busy day tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm going to finish that soon. Anyway, what else? I dove into some short stories. I really hit some short stories yesterday and today. I pulled up the short story collection Jagannath by Karin Tidbeth. She's a Swedish author, and this is a collection of very strange and surreal short stories. I read a little bit about each story, but I don't know if I'm going to go into each one. But maybe I'll just do a separate video or something about this collection. But a lot of kind of Nordic mythology in here, a lot of weirdness, a lot of things about kind of family dynamics in a lot of the stories. Yep, family stuff in here. Some weird kind of like body stuff. I don't know. Really interesting stories in here. really, overall, really excellent collection, I thought. She's an author that's been on my radar. Finally read some, so I definitely enjoyed her short stories. So cannot wait to read more of her full-length work. So Jagannath by Karin Tidbeth. I loved that. My favorite story, I don't know, I really liked the title story, Jagannath. It was, I don't know, it was a strange story. Okay, these children are sort of birthed from this like tube, and they're sort of placed into this little niche, and so they're basically in this sort of large kind of spaceship kind of thing, but also it's kind of like a large animal spaceship kind of thing. I don't know. We're following this baby that has been born, and she's grown up into a woman, and she, you know, the women that are born out of this tube are kind of put to work, and they you know, kind of work the ship, you know, to keep it going and all that kind of good stuff. And then like the babies, like they start being born, they're like just not viable, they're not surviving because something's going on with mothers, like she's not able to eat and stuff like that. I don't know, it was really flipping weird, and I really liked it. There was another one called what was the name of that? Oh, Britta's Holiday Village, which was so flipping weird, gave me like Midsummer vibes, like the movie Midsummer vibes. I don't know, it was totally bizarre, and I really loved it. So I really liked that one, and yay. Okay, now today at work, I really dug into some of those stories that you can get on Scribd. They are part of it's an audio-only horror anthology. I did listen to a few of these back in the first week of Weird, and I listened to, I don't know, maybe about a dozen today. And the collection is called Come Join Us by the Fire. They're edited by Teresa DeLuca. And I listened to, a bunch of these. And they're horror stories, but I think they're really perfect for Week of Weird too, because I mean, horror is just weird anyway. So really quickly, I'll run through what I listened to. Beware of Owner by Chuck Wendig. This was an amazing story. There's a boy and his father, and there was animal violence in here. They shoot a cat in the beginning of this, like a regular cat, and it's not dead, but whatever. And they say, and I can't even say what it, because you got to read that one. It says trespassers learn their lesson here. Okay, then I listened to Was She Wicked, Was She Good by M. Rickard. And this one we follow this family. They have a little girl named Sheila, and she like kills fairies in the yard. She like kills them. She's like just I don't know why she does this, but she's really brutal to all these fairies that are living in her, then like around this, like their house and stuff. And so her parents decide to punish her, and so they try keeping her inside the house, but that still doesn't work, and the fairy gets in, and she's like pulls its wings off and blah, blah. And so they decide to do something else to kind of help teach her a lesson. So the fairies, will hopefully just kind of forgive and not hold a grudge against their daughter. It was pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. I listened to 2 stories by Chuck Wendig. I guess so, because there was a story called This Guy by Chuck Wendig. This one was cool. There's a narrator, and he walks to work every day, and he passes the same dude every day, and every day he like kills him. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be like a real human, but soon he just becomes really obsessed with this man and like stops going to work and stuff like that. It starts to affect his day-to-day life, and it gets weird. Yeah. Then I listened to Daddy by Victor Lavalle. Okay, this book was so creepy. It was so good. There's another family, and they have a little kid named James. They live in like this apartment, like New York City, and so James here's this man like outside of the fire escape window, because when he's sleeping at night, and he hears a man saying, "Come outside," or like, "Oh, stop talking now," because he's listening, that kind of stuff, right? And then the father's like, "WTF, what's going on," right? And so he like does a stakeout, and something perhaps from the father's past has come to the forefront of this modern story. Dude, it is so good. And the ending, man, that story was so good. You've got to listen to that one. Daddy by Victor Lavalle. It was so good. Okay, Black Neurology by Richard Kadrey. This one was kind of gross. But really good too. there's this medical examiner, and he's looking through this body, and he's like, you know, doing his little thing, and he's like pulling out all kinds of weird stuff from this lady's body and stuff. And he finds strange things inside her body. I don't know. It goes from there. It gets really strange. But this short story is a very, very short one. It's super effective. It was a really good story, too. Man, these are all good. Okay, The Pond by Paul Tremblay. Well, this one was good, too. Yeah, because there's two boys, and they're walking to the pond. This thing called the pond. And the pond looks kind of grimy. It looks kind of, you know, it's like it's a little... I don't know. What I'll say is two boys walk to the pond. Only one walks away from it. Very eerie. I like this one a lot. Okay, this one was really great. Midnight Caller by Stephen Graham Jones. This was so good. So it starts off with a 911 call. So it's like two characters. A lady, you know, the girl on the phone calling the kind of 911 dispatch, basically, you know. And so she's like, help me, there's, you know, someone killing it. We're at this like old summer camp. We're at summer camp, and, you know, all the people are getting killed. There's this guy, he's slashing people, blah, blah, blah. And so the lady on the dispatcher lady is like, you know, going through this kind of standard procedure of like working out the kind of slasher this guy is. Is he, you know, does he wear a mask? Does he wear a bag over his head? Does he seem to be holding a grudge? You know, like what kind of slasher? So, you know, she can, you know, make sure that the appropriate people are dispatched to the area, right? It was really kind of like this kind of funny twist on it. But then also the ending comes and you're like, oh, okay, really good stuff. Really good stuff there. I really like that one a lot. Really good. This one was good too. It's called The Girls from the Horror Movie. This is by Gwendolyn Kiste. So we've got Veronica, who was a girl in a horror movie at one point, like a spooky kind of just a spooky girl from an old, like, you know, 80s slasher or something like that, right? And we open up, she's, you know, grown up now, and she's at this horror convention, you know, signing pictures for, like, you know, for money and that kind of stuff. And she kind of sees this picture of this girl dressed up as, like, her character in the movie. And she's like, oh, I don't know. But it's kind of like she's, like, the only person who can see her. I don't know. Things get a little weird. She also has a twin named Zoe, who was also there making the movie. They were, like, working together. You know how they used to, like, hire twins to do movies back in the day, and all that kind of good stuff. So something happened. Like, Zoe just wants nothing to do with this movie anymore. I don't know. So they go, I don't know. Things happen after that. I'm just going to say. And it was really, 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 really good. Okay, so these Deathless Bones by Cassandra Khaw. This one was flipping dark and good. So it's set in, so we're following this, she's like an evil stepmother, like the sort of classic evil stepmother. And, you know, she's got this little prince that is now her stepson, you know, whatever. And I mean, she's kind of feeling the role. She's mean to the prince, but turns out the prince totally deserves it because he's a total asshole. He like kills animals and all kinds of stuff. And then one day, all of the bones of the animals that he has killed has sort of showed up and, you know, are doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? And maybe we learned a little something else too. Oh, it was really good. It was really good. Okay, It Washed Up by Joe R Lansdale. This one was short, another really kind of short one, but really freaking effective. So something comes out of the ocean, and then it walks up to this man and takes his harmonica and starts to play harmonica. And everyone in the town follows him back into the ocean. Oh, it was really creepy. There was another Richard Kadrey story, Flayed Ed. This one like took a turn, but it's basically like the town where Ed Gein lived, like after all that. So like how the town was after that, but then it got really dark and twisty. I don't know. It was interesting. This one was another really short but effective one. No Matter Which Way We Turned by Brian Evenson. And I wrote one line here to describe this one. No matter which way we turned the girl, we couldn't see her face. Ah, right? Yeah, really good stuff. Okay, Kristi DeMeester story, A Life That Is Not Mine. This one was very bizarre. There's a teacher, but she's kind of struggling with whatever life. Sickness kind of makes its way through the school and everything. I don't know, something dark happens after that. I can't say much more. It was really good. And then lastly, I know so many of these stories, but Greener Pastures by Michael Wehunt. He's an author I've been wanting to check out. So there's this trucker, and he's at a diner, like you do. And he's kind of sitting in the booth with another trucker. They're just kind of shooting the shit, but he's like, I'm just taking a break. He's on his way home to get to his daughter's 6th birthday. Now this other trucker is kind of weird though. He's like, you ever, like you can't sleep well and maybe start seeing things and hearing things, because he's thinking, he starts hearing his mother on the CB radio, but like his mom's not actually talking to him on the CB radio, that kind of thing. His mom's telling him to like get out of the truck and go into the forest and stuff like that. Talks about like gaps between places and weird stuff like that. It gets weird. Yeah, that one was really good too. So I think it's like a 35 or 36 story collection. So now with all of these, and then the few that I listened to the first week of Weird, maybe I'm about halfway through that collection. I don't know. But they're really good. Excuse me. So yeah. Woo. So Friday night, I'm gonna, like I said, gonna dig into this a little bit, probably tonight, and I don't know, just chill out tonight. I'm not gonna do anything tonight. And yeah, so I will check in later. Bye. Alrighty, y'all. Let's do a final wrap up for this vlog because, yeah, today's October 1st. Week of Weird, round 2 is over, but spooky season is just beginning. All right. Anyway, so let's talk about the last few things I read the week, so I can move on to my October reads. Alrighty. So let's do the audiobook for The White People by Arthur Machen. So this goes for old weird and probably the dark, a little bit of his spookiness. So basically this follows, and we got a couple things going on here. So there's, this guy goes to this old house, and there's this guy named Ambrose there, and his name is Cotsgrave, and they're talking to each other, and they're talking about kind of like the nature of sin and all that kind of stuff. They're getting real philosophical about the stuff, and then Ambrose talks about this thing called the Green Book, and what the Green Book is the diary of this little girl, and she sees faces of the white people in the woods, and visits them in their little sort of place that they live, and they're surrounded by like white rocks and a big round mound and all kinds of stuff, right? And the white people, they look strange, and there's mentions of the Twisted Ones and the White Lady. There's domes, pyramids, and spires, and the stones move, and things get strange, right? And she comes back home, but she can't really tell anybody that she sees the white people and all this kind of stuff. And all that was really kind of freaky and super interesting, right? I don't know necessarily how it relates to the conversation around sin that the other two characters are having. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that because it's just a short story. But it was pretty interesting, I will say. And I did discover that this is what the Twisted Ones that T. Kingfisher has written is based around the stories. She bases a lot of her stories on older stories, and it totally makes sense with that one. I like the Twisted Ones a lot, and so it's cool to finally read the kind of the source material, right? Okay, so I did finish Hearts of Oak by Eddie Robson, and I really loved this book. I really did. It took me to some places I was not expecting, and it was very strange and really wonderful. A bit darker than I thought it was going to be, and really just, it was totally unexpected. I went into this thinking it was just going to be kind of a quirky, maybe kind of fun little story. It wasn't necessarily that. It's definitely a bit darker than I was expecting it to be, which I'm fine with. I can't really say much about it, because I think the less you know about going into this one, the better. Just know that there's people that live in this town. There's a king. There's a talking cat. Everything's made of wood. They keep building and building and building onto this town. Everyone kind of has a little role that they play. But just that something isn't what it seems, right? That's the gist of it. But it takes you on a journey. Some twists and turns. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this was the last thing that I did finish for a week of Weird. Yay. So that was my main, novel for the week, and I did finish it out. So very happy about that. I did start The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft out of my little book here. I made it a few pages. I didn't even finish it. I'm not yet. So we're going to just kind of, I'm not going to say I read that, of course, and I'll just probably read it another time. I just made it, like I said, a couple of pages. So I'll save it for another week of weird. If y'all want to do this again, I'm definitely down for doing it. I think it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I had a really great week. Read some really strange things. Definitely dug into a lot of short stories this week, like I did. Like Week of Weird is just really leans itself towards short stories. And yeah, and found a really unexpected a book in this one. So very excited. And finishing the Area X trilogy was just amazing. So yeah, I had a great week. Last night I did go to a concert. I went to go see Eric Nauman concert, and oh my gosh, it was so good. I'll put a little clip at the end if you want to hear a little bit of his song. That was really fun, but I was up kind of late last night. I didn't get home, I think, till about midnight. And then I've been decorating for Halloween, so I'm feeling really pooped right now. So I'm gonna end this vlog and get it all edited and together and get my October reading going and all that good stuff. So yeah, if you joined us for the Week of Weird, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed your reads and that you got weird and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching. As always, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Didn't know why happiness was fading in my life. Tell you, my butterfly, I found you and you led me to the light. Oblivious of things around.